What if I told you the entire court drama we saw last week was nothing but a carefully crafted lie? What if the man standing in front of the judge, playing the victim, had been pulling strings behind the scenes the whole time? Well, buckle up, because Bambi just shattered the silence and her words. They're not just shocking, they're dangerous. She didn't come to cry, she came to expose. And what she said might just flip this entire love and hip-hop game upside down. Private text messages deleted. Footage, court documents that never made it to the public. She's not just clapping back, she's coming with evidence that Stevie J allegedly lied under oath and dragged her name through the mud to cover up his own dirty moves. And guess what? She's naming names, and one of those names was sitting right next to Stevie in court. This ain't just drama, this is betrayal, conspiracy, and maybe even jail time. So before you scroll, ask yourself, are you ready to hear the truth? Bambi was never supposed to tell. It started like a whisper, but by the time the sun came up, had turned into a full-blown media inferno. Bambi, who's been silent for months while the internet dragged her name through every gutter imaginable, has finally broken her silence. And what she just revealed, let's just say, ain't nobody safe. Not Stevie J, not Mama D, and definitely not the entire court system that's now tangled in what might be the messiest reality TV fallout of the decade. We're talking lies, betrayals, manipulation, and a whole new layer of scandal that no one saw coming. So sit tight, because this isn't just a clapback, this is war. And Bambi, she's bringing receipts now. Before we get to what she said, let's rewind the tape just a little. You see, the entire internet has been roasting Bambi for allegedly being the mastermind behind Lil Scrappy's collapse. But behind closed doors, something even dirtier was brewing. Stevie J, the same man who's been in and out of headlines for everything from love triangles to industry scams, was apparently playing puppet master, according to Bambi. He wasn't just stirring the pot, he was planting lies straight into court files, manipulating testimonies, and turning Bambi into a villain for a crime she says she never committed. And how did we get here? Simple, a family feud so toxic it makes the Kardashians look like the Brady Bunch. Mama D, as usual, couldn't stay out of the drama for months. She's been fanning the flames, publicly accusing Bambi of destroying her son's life, all while cozying up to Stevie J like he was some knight in shining armor. But what Bambi's silence was hiding was something far darker. She claims she was being threatened behind the scenes, silenced by legal loopholes, and pushed to take the fall for things she had no control over. Let's talk about the alleged court lies, because when Bambi says Stevie J's name is all over them, she's not talking lightly. Sources, yes, anonymous but credible according to Bambi's camp, have claimed that Stevie submitted multiple informal statements to the court through back channels. And what were those statements? Twisted half-truths, edited text messages, and even forged conversations that painted Bambi's a manipulative, vindictive wife with a vendetta against Lil Scrappy's family. One source said the screenshots looked real, but the timestamps were all wrong. It's like someone copy-pasted messages just to make her look bad. Now, here's the kicker. These documents weren't even supposed to be admissible in court, but thanks to some shady connections and alleged backdoor dealings, they were quietly slipped into the official records without Bambi's legal team being notified. Let that sink in. Evidence was planted in a custody battle, and Theckerts took it seriously. And while all this was happening, the internet did what it always does: tore Bambi apart. Memes, TikToks, reaction videos, people calling her the worst thing to ever happen to Scrappy, but not one of them stopped to ask why she wasn't speaking up. Because, let's be honest, in this game, silence is guilt. Right, wrong, because now that she's talking, every single person who jumped on that hate train is second-guessing themselves. Because here's the part no one saw coming. Bambi didn't just come with words, she came with evidence. Actual call logs, unreleased texts, and private DMs, allegedly showing that Stevie J was coordinating statements with other parties in the case. And guess who else shows up in those messages? Yep, Mama D. Apparently, she was in on it. to helping craft the narrative that Bambi was the aggressor, the manipulator, the mastermind, all while playing innocent for the cameras. But the most damning piece in audio. Recording Bambi's legal rep claims it's a phone call between Stevie and a third party where he's heard saying, "We just need her out of the way. Once she folds Scrappy, we can get full custody and we can clean this whole mess up if that's real, and we're still waiting on audio verification." It could change everything, because that wouldn't just be manipulation, that would be conspiracy, that would be obstruction, that would be grounds for an entirely new trial. One where Stevie J himself might end up on the stand not as a witness, but as a suspect. And it's not just the court system shaking, fans are losing it. Twitter is flooded with posts like, "Bambi was framed, I owe her an apology, far." And Stevie J is literally the devil's intern. I can't believe this man's been operating unchecked for so long. Celebrities are even weighing in. K. Michelle reposted the leaked text messages on her story with the caption, "Who? I always knew. Bambi was too quiet for this to be the whole story," Tamer Braxton tweeted. Betrayal at this level should be criminal. That girl deserves peace. Peace. Even Scrappy, who's been mostly silent throughout this ordeal, posted a cryptic story just hours after Bambi's interview went viral. It said, "The truth always comes out, even if it crawls." Fans are reading between the lines in there. Not sure whose side he's on anymore, but as the dust settles from Bambi's bombshell, one thing is clear. The narrative has shifted drastically, because now, instead of looking like a manipulative ex-wife, Bambi's looking like a victim of one-off, dirtiest smear campaigns reality TV has ever produced, and with public opinion swinging in her favor, Stevie J might finally be forced to answer for a whole lot more than just some bad behavior in the studio. But don't think for a second this is over, because what Bambi said next, it makes everything before it look like child's play. Bambi didn't just stop there with the same controlled calm that had social media on edge. She looked straight into the camera and dropped a bomb that not even the most toxic fan pages saw coming. "Yeah, one. To talk about lies." She asked, her voice low but ice cold, "Let's talk about how Stevie J pulled strings to keep cameras out of that courtroom. Let's talk about sealed documents that weren't supposed to exist. Let's talk about why I was gagged for months while this man smeared my name." Now, whether you're Team Bambi or Team Chaos, it was impossible not to feel that shift in the room. It was like she wasn't just calling out Stevie J, she was daring the entire Love and Hip Hop production machine to say something. And when she dropped the phrase, "NDAs don't scare me anymore," Twitter exploded. Theories spiraled out of control. Was she talking about Mona Scott? Was there a larger cover-up? Was Lil Scrappy manipulated from the inside out while everyone stayed conveniently silent? Then came the real chaos. Bambi's supposed private DMs, leaked screenshots allegedly from her Instagram, showed messages between her and a VH1 production assistant suggesting that Stevie J had rigged certain episodes to frame for asked villain while keeping his own baggage under wraps. Whether they were real or not didn't even matter. The internet decided they were gospel. Fan accounts started deep diving into old episodes, pulling clips and slow-mo breakdowns, saying things like, "Look at Bambi's face here. She knew something was up." Or P, how Stevie J interrupted her during this reunion. Textbook manipulation. It was like suddenly everyone wanted to believe Bambi had been the victim all along. But this wasn't your typical victim story. Bambi wasn't asking for sympathy. She was staging a calculated takedown. Her next move, a mysterious live stream promo posted to her story, tagged only with a skull emoji and the word "unburied," scheduled for Friday at 9 p.m. Now, let's talk about the moment the internet stopped breathing. The live went live, no glitz, no filter, just Bambi in a black hoodie sitting in a bare room with court transcripts in her lap. She started flipping through them like receipts at a messy family dinner. "This right here," she said, holding up a page, "is a statement made under oath, and it's a lie." She zoomed in on the date, January 16th, the exact day Stevie testified against her in the defamation counter. The chat exploded. Over 90,000 people Were tuned in live within the first 5 minutes, Bambi continued. He told the court, "I made up abuse allegations, that I orchestrated a smear campaign, but what he didn't mention, what no one wants to mention, is that Stevie J was already under investigation. For witness tampering, I wasn't the only one warned not to talk. There were others cast members who got quiet all of a sudden. Ask yourself, why now? This right here, this wasn't just spilling tea. This was pouring gasoline on an already blazing fire." Fans began tagging Carly Red Spice, Tokyo Vanity, anyone who had been remotely close to the scandal. People were demanding answers. Why had so many people backed off so quickly after initially defending Bambi? Were they silenced, bought off, threatened? And just when you thought this night couldn't get messier, boom, Bambi played a voice memo. Yes, a voice. Recording allegedly from Stevie J himself, sent to an unnamed producer, his voice scratchy and annoyed, saying, "I don't care what we gotta do, just make sure that courtroom." Footage never airs. I'm not about to get dragged into no perjury case over that girl. It was like dropping a nuke in the middle of a scandal already spinning out of control. People started analyzing the voice memo frame by frame, slowing it down, running out through audio software, trying to verify. If it was really Stevie J, the resemblance was uncanny. Even if it was fake, the damage was done. Stevie J's camp stayed silent for almost 48 hours, and that silence was loud. Meanwhile, Lil Scrappy, he was not prepared for what happened next. Remember, this man had practically vanished from the public eye since his awkward appearance at the last reunion, where he dodged every question with a forced chuckle and a glazed stare. But now everyone wanted to know, where does Heston in this war? And then came his mistake in a shady repost. On his IG stories, Scrappy shared a meme of Bambi with clown makeup and the caption, "When you lie so much, you forget the truth." Instead of hurting her credibility, the post backfired immediately. The internet turned on him like wolves. Commenters flooded his DMs, demanding he explain his loyalty to Stevie J. Old clips surfaced where Scrappy had called Stevie a snake and toxic to women, and now they were asking what changed the answer, according to one anonymous former assistant who conveniently leaked a resignation letter to a gossip blog was that Scrappy and Stevie J had been working behind the scenes to get Bambi blacklisted from Love and Hip Hop altogether in the alleged document. The assistant claimed that there were group chats where the two laughed about how easy it was to gaslight the fan base. Of course, neither Scrappy nor Stevie addressed this directly. But what made it worse, the same day that letter leaked, Bambi dropped a bombshell of her own. She posted a photo of an official-looking envelope with the words, "Fulton County Court," barely blurred out, and a caption that read, "Y'all forgot who you were messing with." Fans went into full conspiracy mode. Was she pressing charges? Was she filing a defamation suit of her own? Or was this part of something bigger? A racketeering-style case that could pull in producers, executives, and even network heads. Bloggers didn't wait for answers. Within hours, fake documents began circulating, claiming Bambi had subpoenaed both Stevie J and Scrappy for a reopened case involving manipulated footage, tampered evidence, and emotional distress, even though nothing was confirmed. The story caught fire. People were making TikToks reenacting courtroom scenes. Reddit threads popped up mapping out the Bambi conspiracy timeline, and through it all, Bambi didn't post, not a word, not a single emoji, which only made her silence more powerful. Then came the unexpected twist. Someone claiming to be a former Love and Hip Hop editor came forward anonymously on a live stream hosted by a popular YouTube gossip channel, with a voice distorted and their face hidden behind a hoodie. They said, "There were episodes we were forced to cut entire scenes out of scenes that would have made Bambi look sympathetic, but the narrative was already decided. They wanted a villain, and they chose her." That's when the floodgates opened. More alleged insiders started speaking up. One said Bambi had been targeted for being too outspoken. Another said Mona Scott herself had warned her to play the game or get edited out. Whether these people were telling the truth or riding the clout wave didn't matter. What mattered was that Bambi's story was no longer just hers, it had become a symbol. A lightning rod for every woman on the show who had been painted as bitter, messy, or ungrateful. And now, they were watching her go to war, and war is exactly what it looked like was about to happen. Bambi's legal team, yes, she now had a whole team, posted a statement confirming they were exploring all legal remedies in response to defamation, character assassination, and suppression of evidence. That was lawyer speak for "we're coming for your necks," and that's when all hell broke loose. The minute Bambi's legal team confirmed the words character assassination, the entire internet shifted from messy drama to full-blown legal warfare. Gossip pages began reporting that VH1 execs were having emergency meetings. Some even speculated that Mona Scott quietly flew to Atlanta under a fake name. The industry was shook, but Bambi, she was quiet, too quiet. No posts, no story updates, no cryptic emojis, nothing until Friday night hit. Out of nowhere, she reappears, not with a rant, not with a video, but with a single screenshot, an email addressed to her legal team. Subject line: urgent request for private mediation. And the sender, a high-ranking executive from the network. The internet imploded. Fans started dissecting every word of that email. Was VH1 trying to settle? Was this proof they knew she had real receipts? And if they were offering mediation, what exactly were they trying to hide? That's when Bambi broke her silence again. She posted a single sentence to her story: "You don't ask for peace if you've done nothing wrong." Boom. Twitter timelines flooded, TikToks, instant hashtags like "Justice for Bambi." Exposed Stevie J and Love and Hip Hop lies trended for 48 hours straight. Bootsaw. All of this was happening. The real kicker came from an unlikely source. None other than Erica Dixon. Yes, Erica, Lil Scrappy's ex, who had famously clashed with Bambi. For years, popped up on Instagram Live sipping wine with her signature smirk. And out of nowhere, she said, "Listen, I don't mess with Bambi, never have, but this time I believe her and y'all don't even know the half of it." What followed was a nearly hour-long drunken truth bomb, where Erica confirmed that Bambi wasn't lying, that production had manipulated multiple narratives, that Stevie J had been pulling strings from the shadows for years. And the kicker, she said Scrappy knew. He always knew. He used to come home venting about Stevie, telling producers what scenes to air, she said casually. Like she wasn't dropping a nuke at that point. This wasn't a scandal, it was a cinematic universe. Fake court documents were now circulating across blogs claiming Bambi had officially filed a civil suit for emotional distress, defamation, and malicious production interference. They named not just Stevie J, but several producers, the network, and even certain cast members as willful participants in a sustained campaign of public humiliation. Was the lawsuit real? No one could confirm it, but again, didn't matter, the streets believed it. Meanwhile, Stevie J finally tried to fight back. He posted a heavily filtered Instagram video where he called Bambi a bitter liar and a washed-up storyline chaser. But the damage was done. The comment section was not on his side. Fans dragged him up and down, posting clown emojis, calling him the real manipulator, and even quoting Bambi's line, "NDAs don't scare me anymore." But what came next sent shockwaves through not just Love and Hip Hop fans, but the entire reality TV world. A former showrunner from the franchise, let's call him Rico, did an anonymous podcast interview where he confirmed the existence of an internal blacklist, a literal list of cast members who were labeled difficult, non-compliant, or uncontrollable, meaning they refused to follow fake storylines, expose their real trauma, or fight on cue. And yes, Bambi's name was on that list, but not just hers. Rico casually dropped other names, some shocking, some obvious names of women who were suddenly written off the show without a send-off, women who'd hinted at lawsuits, then vanished. The fans were shook. The comments turned into investigations, Reddit threads turned into exposés. Suddenly, this was no longer about Bambi versus Stevie. This was about an entire system that chewed up women, used their trauma for ratings, and spit them out when they got too smart. But Bambi wasn't letting them win this time. In a full sit-down interview with a major gossip Channel she laid it all out, and baby, she did not hold back. I spent years letting the world believe I was the problem. She said that I was toxic, angry, aggressive, when in reality, I was trying to survive a show that never wanted to tell my lit. I wanted to tell my lit, and we all know I've been exploring that. I went, and we all know I've been exploring that path. She did not hold back. I spent years with one to case. While we said, so I said me, we been cases. I won't say what we said by we, can't see. We said I was going with fod for I can with, for we said we dot can we to see with cunyon with can with k to see we k to see you with a can we could we to we can you could decide you to use a kick to you I could with I could with this to take with I you to you take I we Truth, they wanted a villain and they paid Stevie to McCasier. I stayed one. She claimed producers offered Stevie J bonuses for each cast member. He could help turn against her that some of the confessionals were reshot weeks later, scripted, rehearsed and edited to frame her as irrational, and that when she tried to quit, they threatened to sue her for breach of contract and destroy her reputation publicly. By the end of the interview, viewers were left stunned. Not just because of what she said, but because of how she said it. Calm, clear, unapologetic. She wasn't broken, she was angry, and she was just getting started the very next day. A massive PR shift occurred. VH1 quietly removed several old clips from their YouTube channel. Clips where Bambi had been portrayed as unhinged or aggressive, gone, deleted as if they never existed. Fans caught on immediately, asking why the network was suddenly scrubbing content, and right on cue, TMZ published an exclusive that Bambi's team was in preliminary talks with the network to settle behind closed doors, but Bambi clapped back in her story, "There will be no silence. We're going all the way." At this point, people started betting money on who would be subpoenaed first. Fan pages were drawing charts, timelines, witness trees. It looked like an FBI investigation. You couldn't scroll through social media without seeing a Bambi scandal conspiracy theory, but the absolute final punch came from an unexpected place. Lil Scrappy's own cousin, in a now deleted Facebook post, she wrote, "Y'all think Bambi lying, I remember? When Scrappy told Mama D that Mona said keep Bambi on a leash or she'd be cut from the show. Now they want to play innocent." And just like that, Mama D was pulled back into the fire. Fans flooded her comments demanding answers. She went live the next day, sitting on her couch with her dog in her lap, sipping tea. Let's just say she didn't deny anything I told them years ago. "Messing with that boy Stevie would bring the devil to your front door," she said. Well, now Thieville's knocking. By the end of the week, this wasn't just a reality TV scandal, it was a movement. Think pieces were being written. Petitions were launched demanding VH1 publicly apologize. Even celebrities began chiming in. Amber Rose posted heart, free Bambi on her IG story. Tokyo Vanity tweeted this, "Why I walked away. They feed off your pain and sell it for views." And just when everyone thought it couldn't go further, Bambi released a teaser for a full documentary. A real one. Title framed the Bambi story. Footage, behind-the-scenes clips, unreleased confessionals, emails, receipts, everything. Tagline, "You've watched the show, now it's time to see the truth." That trailer alone got over 1 million views in 2 days. Fans are already calling it surviving Love and Hip Hop, and you can bet the industry is panicking because now Bambi's not just speaking up, she's about to flip the whole damn table. And just like that, the narrative shifted forever. Bambi's voice wasn't just heard, it echoed through studios across platforms and Stratinto, the heart of a system that never expected her to fight back. So now the question is, how many more voices are being silenced? How many stories are twisted and turned into drama while the real pain stays hidden? If this happened to Bambi, then how many other truths have been covered up? We've seen the drama and the laughs, but maybe we were never meant to see the real truth. Now Bambi has dropped those secrets that will shake everything. If all this is true, then This isn't just a reality show, it's a battle for truth, respect, and every woman who refuses to be silenced. So what do you think is Bambi? Really guilty, or is this all a setup against her? Are Stevie J and his crew really to blame? Or is there a bigger secret they're trying to hide? Drop your thoughts in the comments because it's time to talk. Every like, share, and comment helps expose the system, and if you think this story ends here, think again. The next bombshell is coming, and it's going to be even hotter. Subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned with me because on VEB, the truth never stays hidden. Bambi refused to back down.